you, Rebecca, for the amazing introduction. And please join me as I shift back the energy to our amazing and curious audience, leaders of today and tomorrow's mentors. Welcome back from your coffee break. Unfortunately, you have to support me today because suddenly I've lost my voice. And what I need from you is actually you being present with me here in the moment, right, where I share my insights with you. So, if you're present with me and you are all in support, I just ask you please to say aye. One more time. Thank you. All right, what time is it on your watches now? 12. Actually, it's time for the race of technology. Technology today moves even faster than humanity can emotionally and rationally digest. We are at the crossroad of ensuring that we are rising with our human intelligence in a world where machines will co-partner with us. So what does that mean? In this race of technology, we find that ChatGPT finishes our sentences even before we finish our thoughts. Data travel even faster than your values can catch up. And in that race, something sacred has been lost. Which brings me to a very famous question of mine. What is humanity's biggest problem? This is a question that I usually ask my clients, my friends, and random people I meet as I travel to exchange foreign currency with a cup of coffee. And guess what? This silence is exactly what I receive. And that's okay as an answer, because this is exactly why you're here today. To consciously rethink about your conscious or conscious subconscious and rewire how you operate. Fast, but not furious. Why? Because if we don't act now, we will soon have a leadership crisis, solving tomorrow's problems with yesterday's lens. And I think the speakers who were before me, they actually mentioned that as well. So now is the time to really act. Now is the time to really connect with people. So what is humanity's biggest problem? It's not technology. It's the disconnection that we live every day. We no longer talk to each other. When I asked you what time is it today, how many of you, by a raise of hands perhaps, checked their watch on their hands rather than their phones? Hands up if you checked it on your hand. Hands down or thumbs down if you checked your watch on your phone. Show me your thumbs down. Oh my gosh, yes. It's the race of the technology actually that's helping us or causing us to disconnect. We became so much hardwired to really, talk to people through just internet or through just chatting, rather than coming to you and actually have a fair and normal conversation. So, if we don't act now, in the 90,000 hours, which is 1/3 of our lives, a human usually works around 90,000 hours. So in this lifespan of these 1,000 hours, if we do not act now, we will soon be struggling with taming these 4 untameable humanity's problems. And the answer or the solution is quite simple. It's your ability to reconnect with one another. As I delve deeper into this insights today, my third question perhaps for you, which is a more deeper question. How do we make leadership great again in a world where machines might overtake our roles, our spaces in this world? I've done so many research lately in that space of leadership, and I've interviewed leaders from across the leadership spectrum, from private to public sector. And honestly, they all came back with the feedback that in order for you to make leadership great again, it requires somehow what I came with an assumption with is a matrix, a hue matrix. The screen that you see behind me is a matrix that is comprised of 3 algorithms or 3 codes. The FAST Leadership Model Code, we'll delve deeper into this today. The Talent Matrix, my co-authored book, and a global bestseller today. And then the last one is Culture GBT, which I will share with you high-level insights based on the partnership that I had with Harvard Business Review Arabia. So this algorithm is somehow layered. It all starts from within. Okay, so let me tell you more, first of all, about the FAST Leadership Framework. The FAST Leadership Framework is a leadership intelligence framework that was born out of curiosity after deep research, and we were able to detect that there's a gap in research. In the Middle East, there is no leadership model that basically support how leaders should lead towards the future. We've always relied on the Western designed leaderships and adopted them to this world. But now, hopefully with this leadership framework that is expanding even beyond the GCC, we can hopefully take this back to the world. So the FAST leadership model, again, is the leadership intelligence model that is comprised of 4 main pillars: focus, adaptability, strategy or strategic thinking, and trust. So focus, when you master focus, it means you as a leader have the ability to navigate chaos and design and come up with clarity after that. So you navigate your chaos so you can bring clarity to the workspace. Adaptability without strategy is a reaction. So as leaders of today and tomorrow, your power lies in your adaptability quotient. How much can you flex so you can become the resilient leader at a later stage? The third aspect of FAST is strategy, because strategy with no trust is manipulation. And trust without community, trusted community, strategy does not operate. So there is no trust in the first place. So as I ask you, please, now, we're going to do a little bit of testing. and we're going to see where do we, most of the times, spend our leadership intelligence at. And before, please, you take off your phones and open your cameras and scan this barcode, what I want from you is permission to allow me to explain what does leadership mean, at least from my lens, and where does it start. If I look at the word leadership, it's basically a summary of two words, leader and ship. And where leader is that conscious human being who's able, or the captain, who's steering that ship, which means steering the ecosystem of the organization. So the more human-centered you are as a leader, and what do I mean by that? You are activating simultaneously your emotional, your moral, and your cognitive intelligence all at once. And that's what makes you basically a leader that can lead in the future. So, again, as I look at the word leadership, it's a mix of two words, leader and ship. And where leadership, for me, at least, starts by the time we became embryos in our mother's wombs, and that first kick marks our leadership journey. So now what I want from you, please, is to take your phones, cameras up, and scan this barcode. And by show of hands, I would like you to please help me understand, where do you spend most of your leadership intelligence time? Are you the kind of leader who focuses or spend their leadership energy and time and intelligence by practicing cognitive intelligence only? Or are you kind of the leader who basically continuously adapt on the go? Or are you the kind of leader who continuously focuses on ensuring that you design strategy over strategy over strategy, and you exhaust your strategic intelligence? Or are you the type of leader who connects and creates a community, right, that is built on trust? And this is where your emotional intelligence usually is in action. So by rise or by share of hands, who spends most of their leadership time within the focus zone? Focus? Okay? Perhaps it's 0.9% of the room. Are you the kind of leader who spends their leadership intelligence practicing adaptability? Adaptable leaders, raise your hands. We have more people in here, more leaders. Okay, brilliant, thank you. Well, as long as you don't tell me, I spend it in managing meetings, I'm fine with that, right? The third level, or the third mode of intelligence, which is strategy. Who spends a lot of time in this one? Okay? There are more hands. Brilliant. And the last piece, or the last zone. Who spends their time in the zone of being the leader who trusts, or building a community of trust? And that's the majority of the room. Well done, people. But what I want you to know, and what I want to share, is that for you to become the agentic fast leader that I spoke about here, it means you have to manage all of these modes of intelligence all in once. We can't be strategic all the time, and we can't be trust-based leaders all the time, because trust without strategy is also chaos, right? So a sweet spot basically is right in the middle. We're good? Usually when I do this kind of question, it's just to help myself and everyone with me to understand that you do not need to box yourself. We always say, think outside the box, but what does think outside the box really means? Who knows? It means, in its simplest forms and its simplest words, just stop thinking with your current lens, change your binoculars, put a new one, and start seeing things differently. Start with the why, as Simon Sinek usually says. All right, so we spoke about the first layer in our matrix, or in our Hue matrix. The second layer is the talent matrix. What do I mean by this? The talent matrix, of course, is the name of the book that I have co-authored. And of course, as HR professionals, which we have plenty in the room, you're all familiar with the grid, basically, of the talent matrix. And personally, this is where I think we fall into the trap of boxing people. You're all humans of a bundle of potential. So humans are multi-potentialites. And what we do in corporates is we club these people, or we box these people in that box and say, okay, this could be the second person for promotion, ready for promotion, because it helps us in the succession planning process. And when I wrote this book with my partner, we came to the realization that in order for you to really move the needle forward as an organization, as leaders, it's important that we look at the humans, or the people who work with us in the organization, as not binaries, not ones and zeros. I know finance people love ones and zeros. Humans, we don't like that. And that's why perhaps we have a struggle between the CHRO and the CFO all the time. So back to the second layer, which is the talent matrix. The book is designed in an edutainment form that focuses or leverages and is anchored actually by the RISE model. In the book, you will see the RISE model reflects on resistance. You as a human, why do you resist? I, letter I, is how ignorant I can be, and we ask uncomfortable questions. Yes, we like to ask thought-provocative questions. And of course, S and E stands for other things, which I'm not going to tell you because I want you to buy the book and read about it. However, for that specific issue that we have, there is an anecdote. I'm famous of the Arab philosophical proverb, Dawi billati hiya kanat ad-daw, and sorry, I said it in Arabic, and God help me with my translation. If humans have done this issue, then their human intelligence will fix this issue. And that's the backbone of the RISE model. R in the matrix stands for resistance, and the anecdote here is resilience. So for you to become a resilient leader, it all starts by reflecting back on the FAST leadership model. A for adaptability, and when you adapt and you stretch yourself, you become the more resilient level. So they overlap over each other. They are built on each other, and then they overlap. I in here is all about influence. And for you to become that influential leader, you need to understand first, what were you ignoring, right? And then when you identify why have you became, for example, an ignorant human, then this is when you start delving deeper into the trust aspect, which is where emotional intelligence takes place. And when your emotional intelligence is in action, then your ability to influence becomes even more profound. The third letter in the RISE model in here stands for strategy, which is somehow linked to what you have seen in the FAST model. Again, what we're trying to say here, or what we're trying to share, is that when you spend most of your leadership intelligence strategizing about a problem, forgetting what has caused the problem, then how will you be able to design perhaps a strategy that is centered around the human intelligence or serves the human intelligence? So strategy in here also overlaps with the strategy that is found in FAST. But there, it's more on how can you become the navigator. And here, it's how you apply it. And then the last pillar in the RISE model that we talk about in the talent matrix is obviously excellence. Everyone defines excellence in their own way. If I ask you, and if I ask myself today versus yesterday and versus tomorrow, I will always have a new definition of what does excellence really mean. So excellence is not static. Just like the algorithm that we build and the code that we put as we create a matrix for ourselves. And how does this go back to business, or how do we take this back into the talent matrix? It's like when you operate with a lens that is built and anchored by RISE and supported by FAST, this is when a new level of excellence actually is being implemented. And it's not implemented only on a personal level, it goes back to the organization itself. And that's how you drive business performance, productivity, profits, and create a culture, perhaps in your ecosystem, that is somehow GTP-fied for your own good. And what do I mean by that? How many times have we seen this engine sign on our vehicle's dashboard? Have we done something about it? When do we do something about it? When the car goes on fire, mainly, or when the car stops. And this is what we do today in our organizations as well. We know that there's a problem. We sleep on it. We try to maneuver around it. We try to push it under the carpet. And what happens? Boof. Culture explodes, erodes, and toxicity actually, penetrates our ecosystems. So what do we need to do now? Now is the time that we rethink about our rethinking, conscious, subconscious actually, and rewire again how we operate in order to ensure that the culture that we have in our organization is healthy, promotes profitability, promotes psychological safety, and ensure that people are actually your most important assets. Because without them, you will not have business. And that's what makes leadership great again. When you really understand the people in your organization and help them grow and flourish. So what I did today with you is I have took you on a journey at a very high level in terms of how can you create an ecosystem in your organization, partnering with all elements of HR governance perhaps, in order to make sure that your business is going. One of our speakers mentioned that strategy for 5 years is no longer the way or the go-to. If you don't strategize now for the now, you can never have a long-term strategy. and to strategize for the now, you have to start from within, where the fast leadership model takes place. Then you have to look at the matrix in your organization and where and how and why you treat people and how you need to treat people. And last but not least, with that you can create a culture that really fits your ecosystems and help you perform and get ready for a better future. Shukriya. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoyed the thought-provocative session. I leave you with these final thoughts. Thank you.